Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is May 12th, 2024. It is just past 1:30 a.m. in the morning. If you're watching this a few months or a few years from now, this was the night where, one of the nights where there was increased solar flare activity, and so the northern lights are supposed to be visible at much lower latitudes than normal, including Ireland, where we are. So hopefully we're going to actually see Aurora Borealis at some point tonight. So while we're waiting for that to happen, I thought I might just put together a quick video, sort of unboxing in the sort of mold of other videos on this channel. So it's unusual, that's for sure. I'll just pop it out of the box. So this is the Floopy Drive. So this is a flash card which is crafted by Roger Braunstein, I believe also known as Partly Human. And what it is a high quality flash card specifically designed for the Casio Loopy. Yeah, this just isn't a flash card, it's a dev card with features like 32 megabyte flash, 1 megabit battery backed SRAM, and tools for developers. So this little device lets you run all 10 officially released Loopy games plus extras. I believe some features may be missed out, such as the image capturing from the magical shop accessory, that kind of thing. But for those of you who don't know, the Casio Loopy was a 32-bit home video game console released exclusively in Japan. So this console, which I don't actually have. Also, spoiler alert, I don't have the console. It was a niche console targeted primarily towards young female gamers in the 1990s, and it had the ability to print stickers and stuff like that. So it was very much the most desired console in the console wars of the 90s. JK. It was definitely one of the more quirky entries, we could say, in the console wars of the 90s. And yes, I admit buying a Floopy Drive before even owning a Casio Loopy is a serious case of FOMO. I would assume that this is probably going to be produced in low production runs. Yeah, I just really like the idea of supporting developers who are making these flash cards for these niche consoles, because I just think it's really cool. And yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going to pick up a Casio Loopy for some time, and probably not unless I can get it for a really good deal. I think, yeah, once you're at the point where you have a Casio Loopy in your collection, I guess that's probably the point at which you would have to take a step back and ask what the hell you're doing with yourself. Like, you're 47 years old, the kids are hungry, but you've got a Casio Loopy. So it is what it is. I got a little case of FOMO for sure, so I picked this up. And unlike typical flash cards, the Floopy Drive doesn't use an SD card, so it connects directly via USB-C to your computer, where games are flashed using a drag and drop interface in your web browser. So I think what I'll do is, when we've looked at the card for a while, I will switch over to a screen capture from my computer and show that interface. So there's no extra drivers or software needed, I don't think. I think the device supports both Mac OS and DOS, so it should be accessible for all users. And yeah, just the legal and the technical side, I suppose loading firmware onto the Floopy Drive is supposed to be straightforward because it's an open source project and all the files and documentations are on GitHub. And I guess when it comes to loading ROMs onto this thing, I mean, I'm not going to show the process of loading ROMs onto this flash card. I would assume it's probably okay, because based on Casio's current market focus and the dated nature of most of these games that are going to be, there's 10 games that are have been released ever for the Casio Loopy. It seems improbable that Casio would revisit these games for monetization in the future. They're not really compatible with any modern platforms, and you know, Casio has moved away from the video game market to focus on electronics like calculators and watches and musical instruments, and they haven't given any indication that they're looking to re-enter their gaming console lines, including the Loopy. And even when they were in the video game market, they were targeted at a very specific audience, you know, young girls in the 1990s in Japan. And, you know, in hindsight, maybe it's slightly sexist, I guess. You know, it was very much about creating stickers, and, you know, it's a kind of a dated appeal. Doesn't readily lend itself to modern gaming trends. I think that's probably a bit of an understatement. So all of that is to say, I think it's unlikely that Casio will seek to monetize these games IP in the future. But I did a quick Google search before I started recording this, and I don't think that Casio has made any kind of official statement regarding the copyright status or the usage rights of these games. I know that there is a complete set available online on archive.org. The last game to be dumped, I believe, was dumped around last September. So there's now a complete set up on archive.org. If you want to check that out for preservation and such. If you want to dump games, I believe you know there's devices you can use to dump your original Casio Loopy games as well. I'll just be showing the process of getting the firmware via a PC onto the cart. Also, I picked this up. So as soon as I got this cart, it arrived just in the cardboard packaging, and there was no box of any sort with it. And I did a quick online search to see what kind of boxes Casio Loopy cartridges normally shipped in back in the day, and there weren't anything special. Like, it's not like you're going to get, you know, Neo Geo style shock boxes for your Casio Loopy carts. That would be kind of funny, actually, if you had like these really high quality cases for these things, but alas, no, it doesn't exist. But there was an eBay seller selling these clear plastic Casio Loopy cartridge cases for $5-10. So I picked one up on eBay, and also there are a bunch of stickers that I normally wouldn't keep stickers that come with these flashcards, but I guess I can stick them on this and make it look kind of cool. There's also a little mod board here that's included in the packaging. I believe this is to do with modifying the power LED light on your Casio Loopy console. Like I said, I don't actually have the console yet, so I'll be storing this for the future. Yeah, I'm gonna start unfolding this, and I'll be back in a minute. I mean, come on. This is what retro gaming is all about, right? That is excellent. All kidding aside, this will occupy pride of place in my collection while I'm waiting for the right Casio Loopy to come along. Obviously, if you do have your original Casio Loopy cartridges and you want to dump ROMs onto this thing, you would need a specific tool designed for interacting with the console and its cartridges, such as a serial dumper. I believe that's part of the Casio Loopy tools collection that's available on the GitHub, which I will link in the description. This tool allows you to dump cartridges using the Casio Loopy console itself, so it's modified with a serial connection. And then you can extract and store the ROM data directly from the original cartridges. So those development tools are available on the GitHub. I think there's a link to Serial Dumper on the GitHub as well. So I'll link to that GitHub in the description, and let's jump over to the computer. Okay, we're back at the computer, and Apologies for the lack of proper screen capture software, but the page we need to go to is loopy.land/store, and from there we can find the user guide, loopy.land/guide. Now the good news is it seems as though this process is as simple as plugging the cartridge directly into your computer with a USB-C cable. This one I borrowed from a Retro Fighters controller, but let's just plug this in. So I'll plug this into one of the USB-A ports on my computer, and it seems like we got a notification straight away. Setting up Floopy Drive. Okay, Floopy Drive detected, go to Floopy Land. All right, let's exit out of this, go to Floopy Land to connect. Okay, so Floopy Drive not found, connect drive and press the connect button when the notification appears. Okay, so let's try and connect. Floopy Drive wants to connect. Okay, connected. That was easy. Okay, let's have a quick skim through the README. So we need the Floopy Drive, a computer with a free USB port, got it, a USB cable, a web browser that supports web USB, so we're going to use Chrome. We've plugged in the Floopy Drive onto the free port on the computer. We saw the notification and we have connected, and now the Floopy Drive is paired. So I think at this point, all we need to do is to dump some ROMs. So on the Floopy Drive page, just drag a Loopy ROM into the indicated area and it will flash the game. The Floopy Drive is built around, thoroughly tested on and verified to work with the ROM set Casio Loopy ROM's complete set uploaded to archive.org. That is the set that we will be working with. And this program should alert you automatically if a newer version of the firmware is available, although there is a link here. Let's just double check the link and make sure that we're running the latest firmware. Okay, so we have that, and let's go into the Loopy programmer here and see how this works. So we've got our ROMs here. Let's just drag animeland.bin. So it erasing flash. Success. Okay, so the process of flashing a single game that's about 2048 kilobytes took slightly over a minute, maybe a minute and a half. So I'm going to get back to you when I'm ready to disconnect the Floopy Drive. And we're done. So yeah, we flashed the rest of the set onto the cartridge, and what you didn't see is when I clicked the disconnect button up here, and all that was left to do at that point was to actually physically disconnect the cart from the USB-A port on the computer. So yeah, that concludes this video, I guess. There's no way for me to test whether this is actually working properly or not until I actually get myself a Casio Loopy console. I assume it is. Like I said, I just really appreciate developers who put the time and effort into coming up with flashcard solutions for these obscure consoles. Obviously, everybody knows about Terra Onion's flash carts and obviously the EverDrives, but I also have, you know, enjoyed the Atari Max cartridges in the past, and, you know, LTO Flash for the Intellivision, and Fred's Harmony and Concerto carts for Atari consoles. So it's always interesting when cartridges like this come out. What you didn't see in this video was me updating the firmware, because I don't think there was any need for me to do so in this case, but there are instructions on how to update the firmware on the README page, which I will link in the description below. And there's also instructions here on how to care for your drive and replacing the battery. It just takes a common coin cell battery. So there's instructions for all of that on the GitHub. Yeah, so I hope you found this interesting and got some amusement out of it at least. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.